You know, it was so hard to find good hockey in Buffalo during the opening week of the season that in the end I decided, well, we got to go to Rochester. Can't be any worse, right? Hey y'all, I'm Chris. This is the SaberCast, and this is a very special edition of the SaberCast as we're starting our weekly Down on the Farm series where we're going to take a look at the performances of the Buffalo Sabres, two minor league affiliates, the Rochester Americans and the Jacksonville Icemen. Now, the Icemen are not playing yet, so this first episode is only going to involve the Rochester Americans, but I hope this will be a good way to look at the organization in totality, look what's coming in the future, and also, you know, minor league hockey is just kind of fun, so it'll be a good chance maybe to escape a little bit from the stresses of the NHL team we all follow, and maybe we can all enjoy at times the absurdity that occurs in the AHL and in the ECHL. So I hope you'll enjoy this series. We're starting off with, of course, the first two games for the Rochester Americans as they took on the Toronto Marlies in a home-and-home last weekend. So I hope you enjoy. Here are the Game 1 highlights. Rochester Americans opening up their season at home, their 70th season of AHL play, the second oldest team in the league. Travis Kuntar would get the festivities going late in the first period with a big hit and then a fight with the Marlies' Shaw. This whole fight and exchange would lead to a Rochester Americans power play, and on that power play, Austin would get the puck, throw it to Jones, to Isaak Rosen, one-timer, and a goal, the first of the year for Isaak Rosen. And then, in the start of the second, another power play. Jones to Austin to Rosen again, and another goal. Two power play goals to start the year for Isaak Rosen, and the Amerks were up 2-0. Make it 3-0 here. Shot by Tyler Koff, his first career professional goal, and the Amerks off and running 3-0 with 14:06 to go in the second. The Marlies would have a little bit to say about this here, as a pass down low would find the back of the net. Boryavalis would pick up the goal and cut the lead back to 2. Then breakaway chance for Warren. He would score, increase the lead to 3. Unseen there, Radim Mertka with the assist, his first professional point for the first round draft pick. But Shaw down low would get the lead back to 2, and the Marlies would be prepped and ready for a comeback chance in the third. And in that third period, Toronto would pass it around, get a shot, rebound falls to Boryavalis, his second of the night, cuts the lead back to 1. But fortunately for the Amerks, they'd be able to hold on. Devon Levi with a save, 50 seconds to go, and they would win their opener 4-3. So yeah, game 1 for the Amerks was a win. It's the first win. It's the first win for the organization this year. It's the first power play goal for the organization this year. Lots of firsts for the organization this year. But it was in the end just a really well-played game, especially the first half on the part of the Rochester Americans. And you know, a little bit surprising to see his name pop up on the stat sheet for the first 2 goals of the year, but Isaak Rosen, who had an absolutely terrible preseason, had been so ineffective basically every time he was on the ice, to come out on the top power play line and get 2 goals to kind of kickstart the Amerks season and his season, that was a very nice thing. Noah Austin was involved in both of those goals, as was Zach Jones. Zach Jones looks very comfortable at the point on the power play. You know, not for nothing, but we could use that up in Buffalo. You know, but they obviously decided he's not for the team. So who am I to question that? Anyway, pretty decent stuff. Tyler Koff got his first career professional goal. And Radim Mertka got his first career point on a pass which would spring Warren on a breakaway to make the game 4-1. Devon Levi stopped 24 of 27 shots. The goals he gave up, I wouldn't say they were particularly bad. It was more just cases where there were rebounds or out of position or things of that nature. So he looked okay. There were a lot of penalties in this game. There was a lot of rough stuff in this game. Travis Kuntar had a big fight at the end of the period, and they were able to draw. He was actually able to draw a roughing from Shaw along with that fighting, which led to the first goal. And then from there, it was a kind of a roughing show in the second. There was boarding and fighting and all kinds of rough stuff going on. But good on the Amerks for standing up for themselves, and good on the Amerks for holding on to this game. One thing you don't like to see is that Radim Mertka took a penalty right at the end of the third period to give Toronto a late power play. And you also don't like the fact that the Amerks were outshot 10-3 in the third period, kind of showing a bit of fading there as the game went on. But not too much to complain about from the first game. Certainly refreshing to watch a team drive to the net, to watch a team try to win puck battles along the boards, to watch a team engage physically. It was very refreshing and invigorating to watch the Amerks after watching the Sabres over the last week. So that's game one. Let's move on here and let's take a look at game number 2. Here are the highlights from that one. Rochester Americans visiting the Toronto Marlies, looking for 2 in a row against Toronto. They get a good early chance here, and they actually dominated flow of play in the first period, badly outshooting the Marlies. Here in the second, we can see a good example of the Amerks forecheck. They just got in, were hitting people, generating shots, hitting people to find the rebounds. They get it back to Mertka here, who unfortunately gets his chance blocked off. But that's a good example of how the Amerks are playing compared to how the Sabres are playing up top. This would be kind of a tough play. Everyone gets caught high, down, low. Shaw, pass across. Tyler Boyd gets the goal for the Marlies. You can see Mertka wasn't quite sure how deep he was. He thought it was going between his legs, but it was actually going behind him. 1-0 Marlies. The Amerks would be looking to get a bit of an equalizer here. They work the puck around the zone. Shot in, and then everybody jabs and stabs away at the puck. It's held by the Marlies, but another example of what they're doing that the big club is not. Here, Radim Mertka, pretty good job to stop kind of an almost breakaway opportunity. And then he kind of struggles on position, nearly gives up a backside chance. But he did a good job stopping the initial chance, so good job for the rookie there. Here, Marlies bring it in. Metza going to turn this one over behind the net. Tyler Boyd wide open in front. It's 2-0. 2 goals to open the scoring for the former Hershey Bear, Tyler Boyd. Rochester Amerks looking to do something to get back in this game. Shot comes in, rebound goes around Ostlund across to Rosen, and Jake Lecision keeps playing, finds the rebound, cuts the lead in half. The Amerks down only 1. Unfortunately, they wouldn't be able to keep it there as a shot would come in, rebound would be thrown across, and a goal for the Marlies, back to 2. We'll watch a replay of this one. Initially, the Amerks are in good position, 3 guys in the center of the ice. Then watch when this puck is shot. When Leinonen gives up the rebound, much like a low-level soccer team, everyone converges on the puck, but they leave Verberg in front wide open. And so when the Marlies regather, it's just an easy chip across to Verberg and a goal to make it 3-1. Amerks wouldn't stop playing. They'd keep trying late in the game. Riley Fiddler-Schultz, a tremendous chance in front of the net, but he couldn't get it to go. And that would really be the last gasp for the Amerks. Here, 6 men on the ice. They'd get it poke-checked away. Marlies would skate it down and fire it into the empty net for a 4-1 win. Amerks go 1-1 on the weekend. If you're looking at just pure offensive, like chance generation, shot generation, then this was actually a really good game for the Rochester Americans. They outshot Toronto 33-21. They outshot Toronto in the first 17-5. They were really the dominant team for much of the game, but they simply could not find the back of the net. And then it was defensive breakdowns, turnovers, which would end up biting them, which are things we talked about in the preseason as things that were worrying for some of these guys in this group. The first goal of the night was a Tyler Boyd goal on a play down low, where Radim Mertka, I think he lost feeling of where Tyler Boyd was. I think he thought he was more aligned with him when in fact he had gone behind the netminder and was basically approaching the crease. And so that was kind of a misread on his part. It's something he will get the feel for as he gets a bit older in the league. But just a case where you have a crafty veteran like Boyd just kind of maneuvering around a young kid like Mertka. It's not the end of the world. It's something that they can recover from. The second goal was a really bad turnover behind the net by Metza. Just something we saw in the preseason. Metza making a lot of mistakes, lots of turnovers, giving up lots of chances. Well, it reared its ugly head again tonight, and in this case, it gave them a 2-0 lead with only 13 seconds to play in the second period. So kind of a back-breaking situation there. But Rochester would find an equalizer on the power play. The power play has 3 goals in 7 attempts, nearly operating at 50% on the power play are the Amerks. This was a pretty good goal. Something I'm very happy about was, so Rosen took a shot, and Hildeby, the Toronto netminder, wasn't able to hold it. But Jake Lecision was at the net front sniffing around. He saw that the puck wasn't covered, gathered it in, put it in the back of the net. And that's kind of one of those goals where by going to the net, it pays off. That's what we need the big club to do. That's what we need the Sabres to do. But the Amerks are doing it. There were plenty of sequences in this game where they were crashing the net, where they were hitting people. Their energy is certainly there, even though the result was not there in this one tonight. The overall play was there. Getting it back to 2-1, then this was a real backbreaker. Only 17 seconds later, Verberg would score on a kind of a rebound that got there was a rebound, and then all the Amerks went towards the puck. Verberg escaped out. Nobody was on him. When Barbolini gathered in the puck, just a little sweep across, and Verberg puts it into the back of the net. You'd kind of like to see a bit more, awareness on the part of the Amerks. Not everybody chasing the puck, but again, they're young, and it's kind of an instinct when there's a rebound to try to clear the rebound. As they get older and more veteran, that stuff will happen less and less. And then Shaw had the empty net goal to finish it off for the Marlies 4-1. If there was one macro concern you'd take away from this game, it's the fact that in Game 1, in the third period, the Amerks were outshot 10-3, and then in Game 2, in the third period, the Amerks were outshot 8-5, but this time they were in a comeback position. As the games have gone on, the Amerks have gotten a little bit slower. They've gotten a little bit worse and worse and worse as these games have progressed. So they're starting off with good energy. They are gradually getting caught up to and surpassed as the game goes on. It's almost the opposite of what we're seeing in Buffalo, where the Sabres start the games with no energy and then gradually grow into the game. In Rochester, they start the game with a lot of juice and then gradually fade as the game goes on. Both teams need to do a better job of playing a whole 60 minutes. Zach Jones, again, I'm going to point out, again, defensively, not sure how he did, but he did contribute 4 shots offensively. So Zach Jones is already showing that he is a bit of an offensive-minded player. America had an even plus-minus, so despite being out there for the first Boyd goal, he was not party to too many other defensive breakdowns, and he did a nice job stopping a one-on-one chance for Toronto. So there's a lot to like about some of the performances. The power play looks very good. Isaak Rosen looks actually very good. Picked up his 3rd point of the year, and he's actually leading the team in points as of now. So with all that being said and done, let's take a look at the leading scorers, and let's also take a look at the division standings. So as far as the leading scorers go, of course, Rosen had 3 points, Ostlund 3 assists, Zach Jones 2 points on 2 assists, Koff and Lecision had 2 of the other goals this week, and of course, Warren is the only other player on Rochester who had a goal. But you got to like, basically all of that is coming off of the power play. You got to like that Rosen and Austin have had a clear connection so far. You have to like that Zach Jones is playing well. It does not seem to be down about his failure to make the big team, and he seems to be doing all he can down in Rochester to hopefully get another opportunity later on in the year. As far as the goaltending situation, of course, Leinonen did not play particularly well. I think that was to be expected. But at the same time, Devon Levi, opening night, also maybe didn't have the best of games. They just need more games. It's too early to get a read on how either goaltender is performing after just 2 games in the office. So, as far as the standings are concerned, in that North Division, after the first week, Syracuse and Cleveland lead the division with 4 points. Toronto, Laval, and Rochester all have 2 points and are tied for 3rd place. Utica has 1 point, and Belleville has lost both of their games to start the year. So very early on in the AHL, obviously 70 games left for all comers in that division, and we'll keep an eye on it as the season goes along. So just to give some final thoughts here, it's a matter of, it's the same organization, right? But to see the Amerks actually, push and forecheck and hustle and skate and do all of those things that the Sabres are not doing. It's really frustrating. And to see the power play function in Rochester is really nice as well. And you just wonder, it's getting lost in translation on the way up to the big club. Like, these kids down there in Rochester are doing it. They're executing the system the way it should be executed, and yet the folks up at the big club are not able to do that. So we honestly got to figure out that situation, why that's happening. But as far as the folks in Rochester playing well, that's great. And I think we want to see them continue. We want to see them keep that going. And we want to see them continue to improve as well. Obviously, defensive lapses, positional lapses, we need that taken care of as we move forward. So that's all I got. I hope you enjoyed this look down into the farm system. We'll be doing this every week. Next week, we'll get to see the Jacksonville Icemen's first few games, as well as the Rochester Americans' second week in the season. So thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. What do you think about the performances of this minor league team? If you have any thoughts, please leave a comment down below. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. And if you want more Sabres hockey, please subscribe to the channel. As always, go Sabres. Bye-bye.